Lucifer even know heaven sent him.
Don't worry about that. Alright. Just loading in. Boys are getting ready for some airborne school, airborne training. It's been a good while since we conducted an airborne, or at least that I streamed an airborne school.
The Arby's Reuben.
Oh, come on. Looking through our YouTube here quick to see when the last course was, but it just wants to nope. When was our last course? I got a air assault in there. Hey Sutton, how you doing, man? Oh, Crafty. Hey, buddy. I'm just about to launch into airborne school here. Be right back, actually. Hell, I'm doing an instructor. Yeah. Had to go grab the dogs and lock them down here with me. Into the den, into the dungeon we are. Hey, Smiriki. Nah, you shouldn't have to edit. We'll just go as is. That's what I did with the last one. Maybe some highlights, I'm sure, if you want to be all cool, but... Got 4 mics until we step off here. First will be our lead instructor. Tomorrow is Sunday. Alright. Larry B. Got my airborne shirt on today. Can't tell. There you go. It's time to do some airborne shit.
Attention.
Carol. There we go. It's a lot of souls to throw out of an airplane. I love it.
love the throw part.
Yeah, see how many splatters we get.
My very first jump. Funny story. All I wanted to do, I was the third person in our stick. All I wanted to do was look before I didn't even get that opportunity. I got kicked right in the back of the knees my first jump. And you tumble out.
Major.
You tumble out the wrong way. I can tell you that.
What are you drinking there, Major?
A good beer.
Nice.
Root beer, that is. This is Airborne School.
But which
Oh,
route?
whoops.
Which route, exactly?
Beer at 6 p.m. I've started early enough.
What do you mean early? It's never too early.
Yeah, better late than never, you know.
I'm from Wisconsin. It is late.
Almost all. It's
We
always
invented
popped
Bloody
up
Marys.
somewhere.
Come on.
Time to start drinking.
Thanks for the sub.
Hey man, thanks man. Thanks for the sub. Make sure you check your mailbox for the Jelly of the Month Club. Got myself some popcorn. Some good stuff.
All right, it's that time. And as a matter of fact, we got a full stick with these 9. All right, gentlemen, welcome to Airborne School. This school is designed to challenge you, and it will test your abilities this evening. This is a volunteer course, and as such, you may drop on request or DOR at any time. The purpose of Basic Airborne School is to qualify the volunteer in the use of the parachute as a means of combat deployment and to develop leadership, self-confidence, and an aggressive spirit through mental and physical conditioning. Airborne soldiers have a long and distinguished tradition of being an elite body of fighting men and women. People have always set the example for determination and courage. Now note, that as with all of our courses here in S3, any act that is deemed inappropriate, disruptive to the class and or to other students by the cadre will earn the student an immediate dismissal from the course. Examples include talking while the cadre are instructing, arriving late to any phase of the course, using offensive language, or causing a distraction from the task at hand. Now, on paper, this is a 2-hour course broken into 4 sections, and we will stick to those 4 sections. However, the time depends on your performance in the field to a large extent, and whether or not we're all having a good time together. But with that being said, first up, we're going to start with the prereq phase. This is Airborne Basics. Here you're going to be tasked with basic airborne information, and you will be expected to perform note-taking. You'll be given technical information and training scenarios that relate to basic airborne operations. So that's the ground phase, classroom. And we're going to move to the tower phase. Before you get to jump out of a plane, you first need to learn how to land on the ground safely. We use the D6 round-shaped parachute with a static line that paratroopers jump with, and it drops with plenty of downward force. Here you're going to learn the skills required to safely transition to landing and absorb that downward force, preventing injury. You'll spend time learning, practicing, and perfecting your parachute landing fall, or PLF. This maneuver teaches a soldier to transfer that energy of your fall, the landing, up the sides of your lower legs and knees all the way up the side of your upper body. The key is landing with your feet and knees together. To practice these PLFs, soldiers will jump from the 250-foot towers. If you can't see them, you will shortly. Soldiers will have to complete 4 times total jumps from the tower without serious injury in order to get a go. So if you sustain a injury requiring a splint, i.e. a broken leg, you will receive a no-go. After completion of this phase, soldiers will progress to the next phase. Now here, from the tower, we're going to go into a obstacle jump, if you will. There will be a land navigation phase to this course. We're going to drop you into a area where you're going to have to land navigate to a predetermined rally point. You must complete this task in a specific time given in order to move on to the next phase. Once successfully completing this task, you will progress. Now, a soldier who is unable to reach the rally point by the specified time will receive a no-go for this phase. However, depending on that soldier's performance and really proximity to the rally point, you may be given a pass to move on to the final jump phase. All right, so this is, that land nav course. It's the one area where you could fuck up and still somehow squeak through. But that doesn't mean to dick off and waste the time, waste our time, all right? So I expect everybody to give their best effort here, regardless of whatever phase you're in. Now, with those introductory phases, we move on to the jump qualification. We go to the jump phase. Here, soldiers will get to practice their new skills while jumping out of a real aircraft in flight. They'll take all commands from the jump master. Once the aircraft reaches the proper altitude and correct airspeed, jumpers will be given the command of green light, signaling the beginning of the jumps from that bird. All right, so that's the short and the sweet of it here tonight, gentlemen. Before we move on to the ground phase, are there any questions?
I've got one.
No, for a second.
Corporal?
Are we using the static line mod, which makes it so that we all auto eject, or do we have to call numbers and hop out?
I will be giving numbers as part of the jump sequence, but we use the
Copy.
static line mod. It's the VS static line mod.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it'll make a lot of sense, and I know some of you have already jumped before. So if not, you'll learn pretty quick. Any further questions? Welcome to Airborne School. All right, from here on out, we're going to be fucking moving fast. We're going to be running everywhere we go. Right face, move out to the TP board. We're going to the Airborne School. Let's go.
The hell you still doing here? Let's go.
Damn, look at these bodies.
Jesus Christ, come on.
Let's go, let's go.
Who's in here?
Alright, take off your head, Major.
I haven't gone in yet. Oh, they all went into this building.
Yeah, we're in the south building.
You're in the aerosol building.
They're in the aerosol room.
In the defense, we don't.
Ah, shit, all right. This way, you're right. I stand corrected, sir. Let's go.
Let's go. I told you there'll be some calisthenics. Let's go. Let's go.
Stand up and go other building. Come on,
Are you
come on.
fucking kidding?
Come on, stand up. Go,
I'll never
go.
shit you. You're my favorite turd, bird.
Houston, next building. Let's go.
All right, have a
That's a good
move
shape.
ahead here. On my S3 cadre, remember that. Make sure you zoom in on that little black box, look what you're looking at before you start barking directions. All right, gentlemen, so we're going to go over the prereqs, as I mentioned. This is Airborne Basics. First up, we're going to go over the different purposes of airborne jumps, and there are three that we'll review very briefly here. The first are strategic airborne jumps. These are, in effect, strike jumps with no resupply, and units often have to use whatever is available. An example would be Operation Just Cause in 1989. I mean, you know, you're making a very large profile jump behind enemy lines, away from your logistical. Be on your own for a while. You need to plan accordingly. Then we have operational airborne jumps. These are support jumps that assist other operations, typically involve linking up with other friendly land forces. So a couple examples, I mean, Operation Market Garden in 1944. You know, U.S., British, and Polish airborne forces were supposed to link up with armored forces that were moving in, you know, across, you know, the Netherlands. So that's one very high-profile example. Another would be Operation Iraqi Freedom. There were several airborne jumps. Think of the airborne jump on the Iraqi International Airport at the beginning of the invasion in 2003. You know, they were basically short, sweet. They had a very specific purpose, and they were not to make any lasting or strategic presence in the area. And then we get to tactical airborne jumps. And these are jumps that are used typically to outflank enemies or cut off their reinforcements or supply lines. An example of that would be Operation Overlord, the D-Day jumps in 1944. However, since World War II, since 1944, only special forces have performed tactical airborne jumps, and in not a small quantity, but very limited scale. So you go from kind of the the high, large side of the operations down to those think of, you could look at SOG Prairie Fire. I mean, think of 6 special forces soldiers jumping into North Vietnam. So all kinds of different sizes, techniques, depending on the objective, what the mission set is. Now, we're going to go over and train on static line airborne jumps here tonight. With the static line, imagine a static line that goes along the interior of the passenger compartment on the aircraft. Your parachute cord is attached to the aircraft on this line and pulled when you exit the aircraft. Now, the parachute cord can be cut through self-interacting. Do not do this. It is an option. You don't want to do that because it'll fuck you in the end. I mean, there is a time and a place for that. Let's say if you get dragged outside of the aircraft, but I don't even think that's a statistical possibility here on our servers. Now, cutting your line, again, if it happens, you need to basically hook up again. All right, you're gonna have to restart that process. Now, airborne jumps are used for both personnel and supplies. We're not going to do any cargo drops, but it is an option. Airborne jumps are easy to train for, and that's what we tend to focus on in the 3rd ID. We do air assaults as well, and I won't say that they're more difficult than an airborne drop, but we've done a number in just about every one of our combat operations with great success, and we're going to keep that going. Now, airborne drops are usually sufficient using static lines as a means for insert. We don't need to do free fall or use steerable parachutes. And as a matter of fact, when we do drop, whether we're in training or in an operation, we always need to use the same parachute. It's going to be a D6 parachute bag. If you get different types of parachutes, they're going to have different aerodynamics, different handling capabilities. And the last thing you want to do when you're trying to float down and conduct your parachute landing fall is smack into somebody else because you guys are flying into each other using different chutes. It can happen. It kills people in real life. It can fuck you here in the game. Now, I want to talk about aircraft safety next. Whenever you're preparing to load an aircraft at base, you need to go and ensure you do the following. First up, put on ear and eye pro. All right, so goggles, earplugs, put them in. Whenever you're approaching a rotary aircraft, that is a helicopter, do it from the crouch. All right, the Chinooks, the CH-47s, those rotors are pretty high up. Blackhawks, not so much, and if you're on a slope, it can really make a difference. So when in doubt, just as a matter of safety, approach from the crouch. It's not going to slow you down those last couple of meters. Now, as I mentioned about slopes, if you're approaching a bird on a slope, or dismounting for that matter, but let's talk about approaching it. Let's say a bird touches down on a hillside or a mountainside. Always approach and load the aircraft from the downslope side first. So you approach from the downside, and then you move up the slope to the upslope side. All right. Now, if you need to, for whatever reason, get on that bird on the upslope side, you still should move outside the rotor radius on the down to the downslope, and then move up from there. And the reason for this is that on a slope, the upslope side of the bird is where the rotors are going to be closest to the ground, where you're going to have the highest probability of a strike on your helmet or an antenna, weapon, whatever the case may be. All right. Those blades are particularly low to the ground, much lower than we're used to here on a flat tarmac. So if you got to mount a bird from the, from a mountainside, start downslope and move up to whatever side you got to move to. All right. So in that way you can avoid casualties due to the proximity of those main rotors to the ground. All right. And, it goes without saying, when you're approaching a Chinook, the CH-47, always do it from the rear. Really, you should keep that in mind. Those of you who are air assault trained, you know, as we train there, the guns are up front. You know, they're basically watching from, you know, say 8 o'clock around to say 4 o'clock. All right, they've got the front covered. Stay out of their line of fire in case anybody approaches. You know, we coming from the other directions, we can take care of security on our side. Now, as the jump master, I'm going to be on the ground air freak with our pilot. And that's going to be the case in a training or a combat scenario. So I'll have my short range on 6-0. I'll be packing a long range most likely as well. But, you know, I'll be communicating with the aircraft crew. There's going to be a number of orders that I give during the flight and the jump sequence. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is get permission to board the craft, and I'll give you the order to load up. You'll be organized in a stick, and you'll all be assigned numbers by me as you load. Now, the command go, it's just what it says. It's the order to load, or for that matter, to offload the aircraft. If I tell you to go, you need to get moving to the next, you know, next station that you're directed to. Now, last in is something I will say to the aircraft commander, the pilot, once the last man is on the bird. All right. No one else should be saying this. You know, whether you're a squad leader or a team leader, you know, saying, you know, one in or alpha in, it just adds to chatter, and it can confuse both the jump master and particularly the air crew. All right. So, you know, I mean, we all know each other. We know our voices for the most part, I think. But still, keep chatter down. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. So, you know, don't say last in unless, you know, you're the jump master. Now, the order to stand by is given when you're set to wait for the next action. All right, you're going to, you know, basically when I tell you to stand by, you're going to either bring up your scroll wheel menu or your ACE interaction menu in preparation for the next command. Once I start calling numbers, that's time to go. I'm going to go over the jump sequence with you, but, you know, I'll start calling 1, 2, 3 very quickly. You're going to have to jump essentially within a second of one another. You'll have good spacing. You know, there's a very low probability of a strike coming off the ramp, and it also maximizes the DZ so that we don't have to blacklight and then make a second pass to drop any extra jumpers. Now, I mentioned earlier, keep the chatter down. Talking should always be kept to a minimum to allow the pilot, crew, and the jump master to communicate effectively, particularly the pilot and the crew. All right, once we're in the air, you know, he's the commander. It's his bird. He's going to get us where we need to be and kick us out when it's time to go. All right, so everyone needs to be able to hear, and just, you know, chatter really diminishes everybody's comms. All right, gentlemen. So let's see. Yep, already 15 mics in. So that is the kind of dry theory for this classroom phase before we move out and start looking at some of the airframes. Do you have any questions?
No first sergeant.
Negative first sergeant.
All right. Well, if there's nothing further, let's get going. All right, stand up. We're moving out. Staff sergeant.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and get the soldiers briefed on different aircraft and their characteristics.
Got that. Oi, let's go, boys. Command, school circle, command. Not that close, corporal.
Trainees on the black hat. Let's go.
I like smelling you, sergeant.
Alright, tell me after this school.
What's up, Nick? Every time.
Alright, so if this is everyone, I have a Chinook, a KC-H-47 behind me. This is basically one of our main helicopters, and Bills, why the fuck are you bleeding?
Yeah, I don't want to be by your balls either.
Somebody hurt himself already.
Yeah, goddamn rookies.
Got my eye on him.
Alright, let's talk about Chinook a bit. So, the maximum speed of this thing is 315 kph. It has heavy armor and some miniguns to the left and the right of the aircraft. I mean, 3-cap, you already know this, right? This thing has at least 24 passengers inside. That means a whole platoon can be entered. Also, we can carry vehicles with this thing. 3-cap, correct me if I'm wrong.
You can.
Oh, cool. Right, basically this very fast vehicle, bottom size capacity. It's heavily armored. It's large, but it has poor maneuverability. I think 3-cap can say yes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Okay. No better than I do.
Some
Alright.
people like Cadillacs.
True.
It can't beat a MiG.
Yeah, on this thing. Yeah.
We learned
Alright.
that today.
Any questions? I guess not. Let's go to Blackhawk.
I got fat fingers.
Alright, this is UH-60 Blackhawk, if I'm correct. I don't know. 3-cap, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
Thank you. So max speed is 290 kph. It has medium armor, couple of miniguns, as you can see over here. It has 14 passengers plus 2 crew or 4 crew, I guess.
4. I guess.
Yes.
How many crew members do you have there?
Well, 2 plus co-pilots.
2 pilots,
and
2 crew.
pilots.
Cool. Thank you. So any questions about the Blackhawk? Well, I guess not. First on the worst, the C-130 actually.
You know, the Air Force is
Same
sticking
thing.
around. They still haven't flown in. We'll get that here post haste. But yeah, we got one in the hangar there. That's not the one that we're going to be flying here today. But gentlemen, go ahead, follow the staff sergeant, and take a closer look at it. That is our main airframe for airborne jump.
Nikes, I think, is in there. Lancaster, I believe, is in there. Nope, Tracy, Nikes are in there, and Bird.
Alright, C-130 heavy. Correct me if I'm wrong, recap.
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you again. So max speed of this thing is 648 kph. It's medium armor and no armament, as you can see, because it's not a C-130, right? It can get a whole platoon inside this thing, aka 24 guys, because I can now stand that number. It's very maneuverable and maneuverable. Sorry, my brain is not working correctly. And it can carry a bunch of weight, like cargoes, vehicles. I don't know, actually in game can you do this, but in real life, yes. Plus bunch of soldiers inside to transfer it from one point to another, or to drop somewhere somehow, right? Any questions? I guess not.
Negative,
Telsat,
Staff Sergeant.
we're done.
All right, gentlemen, we're going back to the classroom. Let's go.
Wait,
go.
one go.
Let's move.
Who is the last one?
This is why it's important to be in this one. Yeah, you don't need the chairs. All right, gentlemen, before we move on to the tower phase, any questions?
Boy, get over here.
Native First Sergeant.
Was that kid on?
Yes, sir.
You're late. You and Bills.
No, I was present.
No,
When you
he
roll
was
call.
here.
Oh, that's right. All right. Excuse me. No. All right. I got somebody else next to you here. All right. Bills was late. All right.
Yeah, I was
Correct.
strictly on the dot for Sergeant. My apologies.
All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to be doing your tower jumps now. All right. This is tower training. You know, as stated, before you get to jump out of a bird, you need to learn how to land on the ground safely. So we'll be giving you your parachutes and dropping you from the tower. There is a difference between the tower jumps and the static line jumps in the bird, which I will go over momentarily. But the requirement for here is that you need to do one times day jump and then 1 times night jump. All right. I mentioned there were 4 jumps. There used to be. We used to do it 2 times, but you know, with some restructuring of the school, you only have to do these 2. However, both cases, you need to land with your limbs intact. You need to conduct that parachute landing fall and not break a leg. All right. I'll be going over that as I gear you up for this tower phase. But the first thing we need to do here is get your kit. So I need a squad leader.
Yes.
We got 10 soldiers here. Who's going to lead?
Sure.
Bird? All right. Need 2 fire team leaders.
I'll do one first, Sergeant.
All right.
Take
I
Bravo.
can do one.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Stand by.
I'll just,
Alright.
I'll swap to red.
Yeah. Kidon, you take Alpha. Nikes take Bravo.
Right.
So I'm marking who's who.
So let's get, how many we got here? 1.
So we got 7, not including you and Bird.
Alright, so
So we need AR
right there we are. Okay.
for each team, CLS for each team, probably Grenadier. Long story short, check the uniform boxes. All right, Alpha on the left, Bravo on the right. Go ahead and get your kit.
Alpha left.
We haven't decided who's Alpha.
Nicholas, go.
Fill in the gaps.
I guess fire team leader for me too, right?
Alright, bravo.
I assume
Okay,
squad
who's
takes
gonna
fire
be
team
CLS?
leader.
I'll take CLS.
Alright. We also have Nicholas, so he's mic qualified. Do we wanna put Nicholas as medic instead if you want?
First sergeant, is that correct?
Say again?
Squad leader takes fire team leader as well.
Take a picture of it.
I'll take fire team leader
You
as well.
already
So I
have
can get
fire
GL.
team lead.
I think
I know.
it's limited to 1 per team. I'm not sure.
Fucking AAR it is. Let's go.
Oh, I
Hey, Nikis,
I took a
Nikis.
fire team
Yeah.
leader. Is that messing
what do you want me
somebody
to ask?
Let's do rifleman.
AAR.
We have
Rifleman?
yeah, we have
I was trying
AR,
to
we
find
have
out which one to
AAR,
take as
we have
squad.
Who do we
Fire
got?
team.
Ricky,
I'm going
what
to
are
take
you?
combat kits since they're getting, you know, we're not going to have a live fire, but
To ask a fire team
Come
leader.
Hello, buddy.
I'm in.
Houston, he's gonna be the
Good, Nikis.
I didn't think they did was on my body.
Bird. You said you're gonna squad lead. That means you're in charge
Yeah.
of me and Nikis.
Yes, I was making sure that to take the fire team leader uniform.
Oh yeah, yeah. Slap yellow for your colors. So
Listen, so score wheel on it.
Bravo blue?
Yeah.
Sorry.
all right. So, yeah,
What's that
that's
radio gonna be?
I have an
Yeah, 100%. They were invited, but we obviously had a very full class ourselves, so having the slots. But yeah, they get invited to all our things as well.
For Alpha and 120 for Bravo.
okay,
all right, who are the
coordinate.
CLSs?
Bravo 120.
120
Alpha,
Bravo
1-1.
team.
All
Alpha.
right, who are the
is
CLSs for each team?
Radio check 110. Alpha.
Corporal Nicholas for Bravo team.
Don't forget your earplugs.
120 check.
Nicholas down.
Lima Charlie.
Alright, Bird,
like
what's the SWAT net?
Squad net 100.
Squad net 100.
All right, who's Alpha CLS?
Hunter.
CLS. Do I need to sign, or we got somebody volunteering?
Come next to me.
Hunter.
All right, so Nicholas and Hunter have saline perms.
Radio check 100.
Wrap it up.
100 radio check.
All right. Remember this shit. This is what you're going to be using for the rest of the course here. This is only the tower jump, so we're not going to be throwing you into a live fire exercise. However, keep those radio freaks. Note your kit here, your weapons. You guys are going to need them once we get into the actual live jumps. So with that, go ahead and organize up. All right, I want Alpha up front. I want Bird as squad lead in the middle, and then Bravo bringing up the rear. Follow me out. We're going to go to the tower jump place.
Let's go Alpha.
Alright,
on
Bravo.
me. Just one at a time. No rush.
Get on one.
Up.
Move to your left. You'll find it. Hunter, 2. Everybody line up, single file. Not line up, file up.
Let's go.
Murky,
2.
3.
Stand in front of it. Come on. Don't be scared of it.
4.
Got to shift to your right.
Just gotta look down at
Bill,
Shift to your left.
Alpha,
Left
just
side.
on it and you'll see your tower, and then after you're gonna hit spacebar when they tell you.
Line up.
Nike is 5.
Good job, Bills. You counted to 4 today.
Major?
Starling 6.
Apparently it was 1 minute late, sir, so I'd take him.
Bird 7.
Bills, this is
Hunter,
Ronnie.
which tower are you on?
Nikes, good job. You counted to 5 today.
2, right.
Duck 9.
Well, maybe if
Houston,
y'all
10.
lined up early, then, you know.
Alright, find the number on the,
Starling,
the
took you a little
here.
bit to find 6. Did you have to use your second
Yes,
hand?
yeah.
Yes, I did. I was running.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so don't touch anything yet. But this is where we're going to do the tower jumps. We got this scripted, like a lot of our, as you can remember in OSIT and all that. But now that I've got you in your sticks, you're all lined up, you got your jump number, you got your kit, you're ready to go. So next thing, we're going to go over the jump phase. All right, this is the jump sequence. So, specifically the commands once that we have entered the phase and are ready to exit the aircraft. So this is to verify, first and foremost, that you know what's going on along with everybody next to you. All right, so once we're in the aircraft, we're flying towards the DZ. First thing you're going to hear from me is get ready. Whenever you hear a command, you're going to repeat it. So you repeat, get ready. This command is to notify you that the jump sequence has begun. Next, I'm going to tell you, check equipment. You'll repeat, check equipment. And you'll be given a few moments where you can check your scroll wheel menu and ensure that you have the option to static line jump. All right, it should be automatic once you're good to go. Now, there is an ACE component with our VS static line. So I'm going to tell you to get ready. I'm going to tell you to stand up. You're going to use interact on the bird, stand up. Tell you to hook up. You're going to interact on the bird and hook up. All right, that is what is going to give you the static line option. All right, so you check your equipment, make sure you're good to go, and then you wait for me to say sound off for equipment check. You'll repeat that, and with that, I want to hear you count down from 10 down to jumper 1. Equipment, or count your number, 10 okay, 9 okay, 8 okay, and then 1, you say 1 okay, jump master, all okay. All right, that lets me know that you've all got the option to jump. No one's going to get left behind. No one forgot to stand up or hook up or whatever the case may be. All right. Next up, I'm going to tell you yellow light, stand by. So we're essentially at this point about 15 seconds from the drop zone. The aircraft is going to be slowing to a safe jump speed. Then, before we hit the drop zone, I'll give you a final warning, red light. So the aircraft is at the jump altitude, and it is ready. Ramps open, jump doors are open. If jumping at night, interior lights are on, we're ready to go. With that, once we hit the drop zone, I'm going to give you order to jump. I'm going to say green light, and then you're going to be cleared. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, on. Like I said, you'll be given about a second in between. You need to move fast. That's why you got to have the option to jump ready to go, so that when you receive the command, you can exit the aircraft. One thing you want to be careful to avoid during this whole sequence, it won't last long, but don't hit spacebar and accidentally jump prematurely. All right, I guarantee it's going to be a difficult day for you if you do that. Might not be a big problem here on the tower, but either way, getting those good habits of wait till you're ready to go. Now, I mentioned the tower here is different from the aircraft, and that is obviously, we're not connected to a static line here. We'd have to climb the tower physically and go connect up there in order to make that work. So this is going to be treated, this tower jump is going to be treated like your primary static line chute failed to open and you need to use your reserve. All right, that's what the D6 is going to be. All right, so once you jump, once I call and order your jump and you go through your sign here, you need to use your scroll wheel menu and open your parachute. All right, do it immediately. Don't wait. And then you'll float down. All right, so with this individualized jump, you're going to be, not jumping in a file like everyone else exiting a bird. But the main point, again, is to teach you a proper PLF, that parachute landing fall. Excuse me. All right, so once you've initiated your jump and you've deployed your chute, you're going to free fall until you hit the ground. All right, in order to conduct a proper PLF, what you first need to do is, let's say 10 meters above the ground, last few moments, you hit down. All right, so that's going to be S for most of you, maybe down arrow. but you want to press down. That will cause you to pull on your risers and temporarily, and I mean seconds, slow your descent. All right, you can't press down the whole way down because eventually you'll start falling again. All right, so last couple of meters, press down to slow your descent, and you sway your legs one way or the other, either left or right. All right, you press either the left or right arrow or A or D, and simultaneously continue pressing the down or S key. All right, this is the preferred way to transfer all that energy from the downward force safely and prevent injury upon landing. You need to it's basically a roll. Once you do it, once you press down and sway, you'll see you're kind of like tucking in and getting ready to roll into that landing. Now you'll notice a medical truck or a M113 with a red cross. All right, that's going to be your rally point. So once you touch down, go ahead and move out to that vehicle. I'll do a inspection, make sure everybody's good to go. There are no debilitating injuries, and we'll move on to the night tower phase. Any questions?
One First Sergeant.
Okay.
Are we just leaving our D6 after we jump, dropping it there, or are we taking it with us?
As a matter of fact, I don't see any of you have the D6.
No, sir. No First Sergeant.
All right. So with that, you need to go back to the kit box. Yeah, you got your kit. You didn't grab the parachute out of the parachute box.
Like in chat, I was like, do we have our chutes yet?
All right, let's go. Let's go. Put your backpack on your chest and then grab a D6 out of those boxes. One of those boxes.
That would have been
Major.
Yeah.
How would I go through the process of requesting a server setting change?
Take it to Cooper.
It's a setting to remove the paradrop timer for cargo. So with Ace cargo, you'd click like airdrop, and then you'd have to wait a specific amount of time.
Gotcha.
And you can't control the aircraft in that time at all. So it's a bit dangerous.
Okay. Yeah, take it to Cooper, and then he can bring it to our C-staff meeting, and then Cooper's the one that would make the edit anyway between him and Lieutenant Tucci. So.
All right then. Thank you.
Sergeant, I did have another question.
All right.
So we are now going to simulate the counting down procedure before going through our tower jump.
I'm going to go through the jump sequence and then order your jumps. So we got everyone? I think we're missing someone.
We are in the back, like this box, and get your parachute on the backpack place.
That's right. Once you hit activate and you click or whatever, yeah, you're going to start falling from the tower. So you need to get your scroll wheel menu up and deploy your D6.
We start falling the moment we hit the tower. What number thing here? Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Sergeant?
Yep.
So I understood it correctly when about 15 meters before landing we press back key, S in my case, and then left or right shift.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be about 10 to 15 meters up.
A firm.
Alright, so yeah, once you see your shadow, you see your legs, shadow start hitting the ground real close, that's when you want to slow it down, alright?
Did I hear something about the shift key?
No, PLF you want to press down and then sway left or right. So yeah, it's going to be back for most people. Imagine you're going down a ladder, you're pressing, S or whatever your binding is.
Jumping?
Back it up.
Alright, get ready.
Get ready.
Ready.
Get ready.
Ready?
Alright, stand up. Imagine your Ace interacting.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Hook up.
Hook up.
Hook up.
Check equipment.
Check it.
Check equipment.
Check equipment.
Check equipment.
Sound off for equipment check.
Equipment check.
Houston.
Equipment check.
9 okay.
8 okay.
7 okay.
6 okay.
5 okay.
4 okay.
3 okay.
2 okay.
1 okay.
All okay.
Yellow light, stand by.
Yellow light.
Yellow light.
Yellow light. Yellow light.
Red light.
Red light.
Red light.
Red light.
Green light. 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9er, 10. Alright, let's go get him.
Hell yeah. Looks like 1.